Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Advancement Center. It's raining here in Santa Barbara, and the evacuation alert has been lifted. As we held our breath for those areas made barren by the fires in Montecito. So we have a lot to be grateful for, and I'm enjoying being inside. Yesterday, we attended David's event at Unity, and through his prose and his music, I, as a woman, felt transformed once again. There is not a woman on this planet that would not gain immeasurably from David's message of love. I can see it translated into every language. We were few in number, but the transmission was felt by everyone. And this was the poster. And be aware of, if you have an organization that wants to have a sterling presentation, get in touch with David. Now, every 3 times a week, David, Genya, and I welcome you to the Advancement Center. Perhaps this is a good time to read a portion of what Robert wrote on our website. The purpose of the Advancement Center is to allow you to make yourself aware of who you are, how you operate, and what you have to offer the world and the universe, and anything else you can possibly imagine or think of, because that is what you are here for your own gratification, not for anyone else's, because your gratification increases the possibility of everybody's gratification by 1,000-fold or more. As long as you allow everything to be in place, whether it is black, white, good, bad, or otherwise, so that everything in the picture can form into its correct particles to balance the fields throughout the universe and create whatever it is that is best for you and for everyone else. That is the simplicity. So, welcome again. I'm going to reverse the order, because there's nothing like reversing something to make it fresh and new. And when I came across this, I said, there's no way. This has to go first, because it's so important. This is a broadcast where Robert sat right here and transmitted Simeon. And he did this on May 20th, 2015. It was a Wednesday night at 6:15 p.m. And he said, "Good evening. This is Simeon, coming to you from the outer reaches of the universe, bringing you energies to support your day and to take you further into the world of your Creator. As we listen to the chatter in the physical world, there is so much repetition that it's hard to say what comes next and what was heard before. As we listen this time, it's our intention to bring the energies to everyone that will make them stop the repetition and allow the newness of the beautiful energies of the universe to fill their being and maintain some form of attention to the things that are heading their way." Right now, there are many, many special beings throughout the world and throughout the universe who have focused on this time where it is most prudent for everyone to get the most out of life as they possibly can. To look for an explanation is a waste of time, but we'll give you one so you don't have to look anymore. The reason the energies have been working diligently from all areas of the universe and from the earth itself is that it is time when all things converge into a random order that is the closest thing to perfection we have ever known. The input of humanity itself is one of the key factors in bringing all this about. The power that is wielded by humanity as an entity is enormous, and the power that is wielded by each individual is more again. To explain how that can be, we have to take you to where everything is different, to what it is right now in the environment that you're in. And as I speak, you'll feel a change that has nothing to do with any manipulation or movement. The change has to do with the realization of something you've never heard of before. It has no name, but it is far beyond the elegance that anybody has ever experienced. With all the energies coordinated in this most unusual pattern, all the features of the actions and reactions of the world and the people and the planets will change. They will change so that they can blossom into something so magnificent that it is hard to see even from where I stand. It sounds like a serious matter, but in fact, it is most lighthearted, easy exercise that has ever been taken on. The detail is enormous. The scope is enormous. But because it is a new natural flow with natural resonance and with original music, it can perform with joy and change to such an extent that your personal input will feel like it is less, even though it goes up by many millions of times. Your personal influence in everything is about to be one of the greatest gifts to you, to the world, and to all those who venture towards the process of showing their skill in the physical world. You've heard many times that there will be people lining up to visit Earth, and it's happening now. For those of you who are here and are about to receive so much assistance from all those who can see this in their path in the future, that you won't have to do anything. Your influence on the earth has always been a little up and down, to say the least, and the earth is fine, but it's showing the effects of humanity. In fact, without the special gifts from each person, the earth wouldn't be to the level it is today. It depends on you, and you depend on it, and all the features that are partially hidden will now become visible. For many years, we had very drab colors and knew nothing about the iridescent colors that we have now. The main reason is we couldn't see to that level, couldn't comprehend to that level, and even the rainbow. It's nothing to see a rainbow that's twice as big as it used to be. The colors in trees used to be basic green, and now they are everything you can think of in every season, not just in the special season where there is change. If you can look at that in the change of seasons, where the trees and everything changes to such an extent where there is a new life in the spring of every year, you can see that we are at the spring of the life of the universe and the life of humanity. Wow. Well, I found another writing of Robert's. I've so enjoyed There's Another Way and the self-healing workshop. And now, and I'm hoping that so many of you have read Your Personal Supercomputer. Well, what has happened since the publication of that little powerful thin book is now called Working with Your Personal Supercomputer. And it was read, recorded, and recognized because of its relevance, urgency, and importance in humanity. Each one of us will be nodding in agreement and happy to read these words that validate us all. Now, awakening and accessing the magic of our own personal supercomputer, we find that we are able to rise above the same distractions that used to take us off course. Robert's words acknowledge our inner knowingness. This allows the shedding of layer upon layer of false filters and beliefs that have been formed by circumstances that are no longer a part of our reality. We must honor the magic of life, each other, and ourselves. And here we go. Chapter 1. This first sentence got me, and here it is. Chapter 1. All of your experience has, to this point, been preparing you for the development of your life into the excellence of the next 1,000 years. Your enthusiastic awareness of the fact that there is much more available to humanity than has been expressed by the most advanced teachers in our society will now become a reality as you adventure into a world that is so close to you that you are not even aware of its presence. Technology has captured our imagination and has taken us to where we feel more comfortable and more like the being that we expect to be on this earth. Our communication is easy. Our transportation has accelerated to where the world is a small place, and our home appliances take away the time-consuming tasks of maintaining our everyday life. We have created an extremely good copy of the world of our imagination, and we now venture into space to continue on another front. Many of us are in awe of our progress and sometimes find that it surpasses our own capability. When we look beyond technology, We are not able to remove ourselves from the framework of technology without introducing another set of structures that have been conveniently placed in our knowing to capture the transition. You can now move from technology to spirituality or belief, and then on to science and back to the supernatural with all its aspects and connections to science and belief. Then there is nature and spirit and so on. But there is no opening for the unknown and its brilliance in your life. To create an opening for the unknown in our lives, we have pointed to various events in life and described how the action of your personal supercomputer takes a step beyond technology and creates what is seen as miracles in our lives. In the introductory mini book, Your Personal Supercomputer, we have opened the vision of a distinct possibility that we are missing what is sitting right in front of us. And now we will go further and demonstrate what is not only possible, but what is our next step in the evolution of humanity, both on and beyond the physical plane. Thank you. I can't wait to get to chapter 2. Okay. You've noticed that I've reversed the sequence. I usually welcome you and then launch right into Swissindo, where I tell you what's going on with Honorable Bapak and what else we can look forward to. At this point, I'm going to say that the appeal has not happened yet, to my knowledge anyway. I keep checking. But what I can tell you is that there are thousands of letters pouring in from all over the globe. Every country. And a country in Indonesian, Vidi and I have finally learned how to pronounce Lingachala. I think that means country. I'm not sure. Or section or continent. I'm not sure. At any rate, this is from Australia, from the Australian Lingachala. And it is from, doesn't say. So it says, on behalf of Australia, Lingachala, we would like to extend our support and thanks to Honorable Bapak, his mission for world peace and debt forgiveness. War is awful. War is cruel. For politicians, it's a tool. Sometimes views and ideas vary. Doesn't mean hate we should carry. Instead, we choose peace and unity that focuses on community. It will help so many lives, avoid tears from countless wives. War and peace, two opposite sides, lessons learned, history provides. UN Swissindo, the hope of future generations to understand the scope. And it goes on for 2 more pages. But I wanted to let you know that there is so much support happening. Oh yeah, it goes on and on. All right. So now that we're in the Swissindo sector, And I'm sure you know these words better than I do. That's all from Australia. Okay. And once again, I got an email the other day from a man who said, "I miss Robert." So I had to answer him and tell him that we've been projected onto the broadcast screen. But I also told him that Robert has been writing. And the other thing he said was, "Are the vouchers still happening? Are people getting paid?" It's like, I don't know where he's been. But at any rate, here we go. You've got to know about this. The vouchers, they're still happening. And we have a website. It's almost like a community global chat room for everyone involved with Swisindo. And can you imagine? You can chat with anyone in any country as long as you can find a mutual language. So here's that voucher. And of course, you'll have thousands and thousands of people holding their vouchers, and you have everyone's picture. So this is the voucher where you put your passport picture and your thumbprint. You do not sign it, you don't put your social security, and you have it and you keep it in a safe place. And I'll keep you posted. And of course, here is the debt burden liberation certificate. This is going to have so many wonderful occurrences happening. Now, I know there's more. Did I lose a page? Okay, well, it's all good. Now, you remember that Simeon said we're in for a change? I'm assuming that most of you know about Gisara. But I think this is an appropriate time to refresh ourselves with what Gisara means. And the definition is Global Economic Security and Reformation Act. Kind of sounds like Swisindo. But at any rate, there are 20 definite answers. And this morning I realized I'm not sure if I remember all of that. So I'm taking it upon myself to refresh your memory. Now, this could happen within days. If you keep alert and you're looking at not the fake news, but the real news. And we have several friends who keep very, very much up to date with this information. So here is number 1. Gisara cancels all credit card, mortgage, and other bank debt due to illegal banking and government activities. Many will refer to this as a jubilee or complete forgiveness of debt. Just think what that's going to mean. It's never ending. It's gigantic. And the second one that you'll love, all income tax abolished. The IRS abolished. With employees of the IRS, they'll be transferred into the U.S. Treasury National Sales Tax area. So they'll keep their jobs, but they'll be good jobs. There'll be a 17% flat rate, non-essential, new items only sales tax revenue for the government. In other words, food and medicine will not be taxed, nor will used items such as old homes. I'm not sure if I know what that means. At any rate, it's all good. There will be increased benefits to senior citizens. Perhaps they're recognizing the fact that senior citizens have been serving their lifetime. Constitutional law will be returned to all courts and legal matters. Gisara reinstates the original title of Nobility Amendment. I'm not quite sure about that one, but it has to be good, right? Now, Gisara establishes new presidential and congressional elections within 120 days of Gisara's announcement. The interim government will cancel all national emergencies and return us back to constitutional law. Wow. Isn't that what we're all dreaming about? Gisara monitors elections and prevents illegal election activities of special interest groups, and creates a new U.S. Treasury rainbow currency backed by gold, silver, and platinum precious metals, ending the bankruptcy of the United States initiated by Franklin Roosevelt in 1933. Okay, so there'll be a new currency backed by gold. Now, I think there are 2 pages here. Yeah. Now, number 11 forbids the sale of American birth certificate records as chattel property bonds by the U.S. Department of Transportation. We know about that. 12, Gisara initiates a new U.S. Treasury bank system in alignment with constitutional law. 13, eliminates the Federal Reserve System. During the transition period, the Federal Reserve will be allowed to operate side by side with the U.S. Treasury for 1 year in order to remove all Federal Reserve notes from the money supply. And 14, restores financial privacy. 15, retrains all judges and attorneys in constitutional law. They're going to be retrained for our benefit. And 16, ceases all aggressive U.S. government military actions worldwide. 17, establishes peace throughout the world. 18, releases unprecedented prosperity with enormous sums of money for humanitarian purposes. 19, enables the release, and this is what's getting right to the nub of it, enables the release of over 6,000 patents of suppressed technologies that are being withheld from the public under the guise of national security, including free energy devices, anti-gravity, and sonic healing machines. And 20, eliminates all current and future nuclear-powered weaponry on planet Earth. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. The clarification and the fact that there are people working on our behalf, knowing what's true. Now, it's kind of interesting. You may not know this, but this whole GESARA resulted from a farmer's lawsuit that the courts dragged out during the 1980s. The case proved that since the 1600s, the U.S. taxpayer dollars have been illegally laundered through what was known by 1871 to the 1900s as the privately owned IRS, Federal Reserve and cabal corporations of the District of Columbia, the City of London, that's Queen Elizabeth, and the Holy See, or the Pope and the Vatican, and the U.S. Incorporated, who then controlled use of the money through central banks across the globe, with political elites filling their pockets along the way. There you have it. So Simeon in 2015 said the change is here. It's about to happen. And now we're that much closer. 4 years closer. Now here's the fun part. I loved the title of today's broadcast. Step Beyond Technology into the World of Magic and Miracles. That's where we belong. That's who we are. And then I thought, what isn't technology? Something you create with basic materials. Some of you may remember my telling you how as a child, I used to put myself to sleep at night thinking that I would find this cold, crying little boy sitting on the curb, and I would take him in and give him warm soup and a bath and warm pajamas. I was going to take care of him. I've held that my entire life. Yeah. Bringing comfort has always played an important part in my life. The form it has taken is multitude and many, from providing a drop-in center with a home atmosphere for residents in a psychiatric center, to discovering so much joy from making Afghans for friends and family. In fact, my daughter, Debbie, I have to show this to you, gave me an amazing birthday present, an album of photographs of beautiful people holding the Afghan I made for them. It has nothing to do with technology. And here's one. I think you could. Those are my grandchildren, Megan and Kevin, holding their Afghans. And the whole book is filled. And Debbie gave me the book and she said, now you have to finish it, because I couldn't get photographs of everyone. But I got this one. You see this? You know her. You see her every Wednesday. That's Genya and her new Afghan. Now, let's see. It just gives me so much joy. And it's so interesting because something made by hand has so much value. You can save an email that someone sent you, but when someone sends you a special birthday card, you can hold it in your hand and know and feel that person. Hand-blown glass, you know someone has worked with it. You could feel what they put into it, perhaps what they were feeling when they made it. We don't know. Yeah. Oh, this is the one I kept thinking about. Electronically meeting your new grandchild can't come close to holding that little baby. And I remember when they first introduced emojis, I was annoyed. Of course, now I use them, but I remember saying, how can you, that's ridiculous. They're going to legislate what we're going to feel and report to other people. But you see how that happens. If it's convenient, we start to use it. So that's why we want to step past technology. And by the way, today is the 40th anniversary of the cell phone. Remember before cell phones? If you got a phone call and you weren't home, you didn't get it. Or maybe you had an answering machine. But you weren't on tap for anyone and anything. I have people trying to sell me things all day long, and they don't take me off their list. So I just click, don't receive. But that's an intrusion. And we're here to experience the joy of life itself. Yeah. And then David's mom, Vivi, my colleague in Swisindo, I promised her an Afghan. And she did the most beautiful thing. She brought me the wool. And that's as far as I've gotten. So I'm going to go up to Michael's and get more of the same. But I did this while we were visiting, just like in the old days. I didn't even realize I was crocheting. I was with a friend, and I was getting something ready. And she'll use it. And I don't know if you remember Tale of Two Cities. Remember Madame Lafarge? And every time she did something, it wasn't very nice. But every stitch I crochet, I send love and joy and comfort. Now I came across something else that has absolutely nothing to do with technology, and I was thrilled. A couple who have 4 sons and a daughter sat down and realized all the things, all the old-fashioned skills that kids need to know today. So I printed it out. And I know you can't read it, but I'll read a few of them. And we take it for granted because, of course, we do these. But then again, you see what the millennials don't know how to do because no one took the time to tell them or show them. I'll just read the first 5. And then they have little check marks. How to write a letter. How to make a phone call. How to take a message. How to get to know an older person. How to play with a baby. How to sew on a button. How to make a genuine apology. And I'll skip around. How to admit to a mistake. How to set a table. How to iron a shirt. So there are 40. And of course, the last one is how to be kind. This is very important. So I've posted it on my Facebook. So if you're interested, you can come and take a look. And here's a big one, how to write a thank you note. I remember sitting on my kids, having them write their thank you notes when people were very generous and gave them beautiful gifts. Well, we've been all over the place. We visited Jasara. We visited, or rather, Simeon visited us. And I told you what was on my mind and what I love to do. And if we share that with each other, what do you love to do? What makes you happy? And that's the magic that we share. And if you both love the same thing, so much the better. Now I'm going to read something that is totally thrilling to me because, number one, David wrote it. Second, as soon as he started to read these words on Friday, sitting right here, I instantly went to the fact that this is Robert's and my song, and I sang it at our wedding. But here's David's version of In My World. In my world, I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies crying. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. What do you see in your world? If it's fear and judgment, separation, hate and anger, then I invite you to take a small step to the left or to the right and enter a world that is calling you home. It's not as though that world doesn't exist. It's that it exists because you see it. It's like when you go without eating for 6 hours, without feeling hungry, and you realize during those 6 hours, food did not exist in your world. But as soon as you realize you are hungry, food becomes a part of your world. Can you imagine if the whole world was having the feeling of going without food at exactly the same time? The production of food would no longer be supported. This is just a picture of how your world of perfection and harmony can be affected by giving your attention to the things outside of perfection and harmony. But it's also a picture of how we will all shift to this beautiful world. And as we do, the other world won't be able to exist because it will no longer be supported. This beautiful world exists inside of you because you brought it with you from your origin. And when it becomes your world every day, and it most certainly will, you will think to yourself, what a wonderful world. Yeah. I hope you've enjoyed this. I have loved it. Being with you, sharing with you, and having some good news to share with you. And now I wish you perfect life, perfect health, and a wonderful, magical future. Thank you.